I've just realised this is actually my third movie review straight in 3 days. First I reviewed Fast 9, then The Conjuring 3 yesterday, and today, A Quiet Place Part 2. So this is the second Quiet Place movie, and I do want to say the first one I thought was wicked, man. The idea of the movie, the monster, and just the world they built for that first movie is so sick, man. So when I first saw the trailer to this, I was buzzing, mate. This movie literally starts right after that first movie, man. If you've seen the first movie, I'm not going to spoil it just in case you haven't seen it, but you know exactly how that ended. This movie, the second one, literally, man, straight after, that's where the story starts. It's quite basic, man. Like, I'm not going to say anything, do not worry. You guys know I ain't about spoilers on the channel. But it's very simple, man. But the world they've built kind of makes it really hard, man. So if you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. The story's not this, like, grand, complex thing. It's just, yeah, very basic. In one of the worst, like, worlds ever. 80% of the story I really enjoyed. There was, like, 20%. I'm not going to go into details, but I kind of wasn't feeling it. Like, I loved that first movie so much. And there's a few little things in this movie that I just didn't love that much. However, for the majority of the story in this second movie, I did enjoy. As for the cast, man, they are so good. Emily Blunt, of course, back from the first movie. She's just god tier, mate. She's so good. And of course, she is so good in this movie, man. I could keep watching her in this movie for hours, mate, and never be bored. You also have in this movie, big man Cillian Murphy, just an absolute legend, aka Thomas Shelby. He's in this movie. Just anything he touches turns to gold, man. When he was on screen, I was loving it. And now it's time to talk about the horror, the world, the monsters, all that stuff. First of all, the horror. Yo, just like that first movie, the tension is no joke, man. I'm talking about proper tension, mate. We're in the cinema, throwing popcorn in our faces, and yet you're so tense watching this movie, man. Just all that stuff is genuinely god tier. It's so good. As for the monsters, man, of course, if you've seen the first movie, you know, like, what they look like and stuff. There are a few, like, nice little new invented ways that they, like, are involved with certain scenes. I'm not going to say too much. I like the idea of them. I like the design. I'm on board for them, yo. Also, the world is probably the one thing that got expanded upon in this movie by far, man. They're showing us exactly what the world's like, what these dodgy people are like now, and all that stuff. The world building is so important for movies like this, especially when they're set in, like, post-apocalyptic messed up worlds. All the world building, sick. Directing, cinematography, just all the visual stuff, man. I have no complaints. They're so good. And I do want to say, right now, the opening scene, oh my god. They basically show us exactly how it happened right at day one, mate. In fact, if you've seen the trailers, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, let's just say, if you guys ever want to make a prequel movie, down for it, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie was so good, man. This one and the first one together, that is a pair of absolute bangers, mate. Just, they work so good together, and I love the fact that it starts right after the first movie. My only, like, negative is basically to do with the story. Like, I love that first movie so much. I just wanted that. I can't really say what it is, but some of it in this movie, they're like 20%, maybe 25%. Just some of the story beats involving that percentage, we say, I just didn't love too much. Again, like, I definitely didn't, like, hate it, but it just wasn't anywhere near as good as, like, the other 80% of the story. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give A Quiet Place Part 2 8.5 nerds out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen A Quiet Place Part 2? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the first one? Whatever it is, yo, please let us all know down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate the big love and support, and I'll see you in a bit.